Hello. All right, welcome parents for Miss Myers' class. This is how we kind of start every class. They come in like here and stand quietly like this. Some people set up their instruments. The last class got them out for them, so they're kind of checking and standing quietly. This is where I usually talk, and they let me know they can control their body by relaxing their hands by their side and looking this way so that they're in charge of what they're doing before they start swinging around a big violin. I usually put stuff on the board that we're going to be working on today. We make a plan. Sometimes I answer questions. So, but today we have parents, so we're going to perform for you. And parents, we need a job to do. Audience members, you have to do this. Okay. We practiced that, so you got to do it again. Here we go. That was better. That was better. I like that. Now, so they're going to get their instruments ready. We talked a lot about putting this stuff called rosin on. They learned how to put their sponge on, set up their violin to make sure it's set up well for them. Somebody else in the other class used their instrument, so they're getting it ready for them, making sure everything's in the right spot and ready to go. Okay, while they do that, this class is excellent at doing it quietly. So that lets me use my ears. I can come around and tune instruments. So I use my ears to tune. It's faster. Hopefully I just have to tune a few. I get asked a lot why I need to tune the instruments every class. Violins are made out of wood. There's a lot of tension on the instrument. There's other wood parts that fit perfectly into holes. And they are very sensitive to changes in temperature, changes in humidity, changes in bumping into other third graders, or changes in elevation when they drop on the floor, and or other kinds of things. So we do try to make sure I tune them all before we play, so everybody can feel good about playing the same notes. And it's not the violin; it's something they just need to learn and work on. So, most of the time. So I see a lot of people that are finished getting their instruments ready, and they're holding their instrument in rest position. So rest position is our safe way to hold the instrument. Sorry, I made that mistake. I took it out of the garage. So I'll open the garage. Put it back. People ask me when they get to tune their own instruments. Miss Weissenborn came in and watched us and asked me the same question like 2 months ago. Miss Fontano loves teaching them how to tune their instruments in 6th grade orchestra. So I let her have that one. Okay? Because you see this, open the garage, pull that from service. Takes a lot of force and strength and pushing it in while turning, and there's always that risk of breaking a string. So and that's great. Okay, so hey, this is when sometimes they'll practice to kind of get used to the song, but I thought the first thing you should hear is them playing together and not all playing separately. So this is our first song we ever learned. It's called Chicken on a Fence Post. It's about a chicken on a fence post. Yeah, good audience. They're clapping just at the right time. At the end of the song, they're watching carefully. This is good. I see some smiles on third graders' faces. That's great. Okay, our next one's called Winter Time in Russia. So this one we'll play twice for you because we'll do it once where we all play together. And then though everybody will get a solo after that. So you get to hear everybody play their violins all by themselves. Okay, so we're getting ready. They like to work on their good sound first. On getting a really good sound, and they had 24 chances to get a really nice one. So now we're going to kind of pass around. We really worked on staying together for this one. So they're going to get ready. We're going to start up here and wind around, and you get to hear everybody play. Another round of applause for our soloist. Sometimes it's kind of frustrating when 23 other people are playing at the same time as you and you can't hear your own self play. So we like it when we pass this around. We did a lot of times doing this in class where they all passed around. They got to hear just themselves play. They got to hear their friends play. We even kind of talked about like how we could get better. Like if somebody had a mistake, I don't really like online sounds. How we can fix it. So there's a lot going into just the right amount of weight, just the right amount of next up is our old brass wagon. So we have to demonstrate our step number 6 for everybody. We found out that we can balance our instrument on our shoulder, and real violin players don't actually use their left hand to hold up their violin. So what they do is we found out that violins are very lightweight instruments. They're hollow on the inside, very thin wood, and they don't need much effort from third grade heads, which are really huge, to balance the instrument without really a lot of pressure or straining or anything like this. So we spent a lot of time doing this, holding the violin, getting in just the right spot. I move people's heads and put violins on shoulders frequently, and then sometimes I just leave them like this. I go get coffee, I come back, and they're just hanging out real comfortable, and then I tell them in only 20 years or less they can talk to their class while holding their violin, and talking to parents coming to watch them, because all it really takes is a little bit of experience and practice violin and getting it just the right comfort level for them to hang out with the violin on their shoulder all day. All right. So then once we did this, we found out we could use our left hand, our violin hand, to put fingers down in the right spot while keeping our wrists nice and straight and on our fingertips, so we have really focused weight in the right spot. And then later they'll be ready to do shifting back and forth, because we do have to play notes up here when you play the violin. And then if you go watch those symphony players, they're moving their fingers very fast, and you can't do that while holding up the violin. And then they do that thing that makes it sound beautiful called vibrato, where they wiggle their fingers too. So we need to be able to balance to do this. All right, so this is our old brass wagon. Song about the monkey that climbs up a ladder, and when he gets to the top of the ladder, he picks a banana.
Pink banana. Pink banana.
Yeah, they always correct me on that one. Pink banana. You gotta make sure it's pink. And then it climbs back down the ladder, and when it gets to the bottom, it finally eats the banana. So we got a lot of reward. You're gonna notice that when we go up the ladder, the pitch goes up. And then when we go down the ladder, the pitch goes down in a stepwise motion like climbing up a ladder. It's also known as a scale, in case you have once been a musician or played an instrument before. Your teachers love to have you play scales over and over again so that you get really good at your instrument. Okay, so we're doing that. This is our monkey song. be playing, we'll be adding like what the notes actually are to that, well, letter names and things like that, so they can play with different instruments. And then we'll be playing the full scale and going a little faster. So you'll hear that one for the next 3 years. So I told them they could sit at this time because they've been working really hard standing for a long time, and some of them are going, oh, I finally get to sit down, which is nice. Because standing is a lot of work in itself, but then they're also balancing the instrument on their shoulder, they're moving both hands. Both hands are doing different things. They're using all their fingers, there's a lot of fine motor control in there, while singing a song in their head and trying to recreate it on their instrument. So you'll notice that they're not really reading music right now. We are really focusing on getting a good sound, using our ears, playing longer songs, getting things in there. Coming up, this is our last open house, so thanks for coming. If anybody couldn't make it today on Wednesday or on Monday, we have some extra friends around with cameras. There's a couple in the hall, so they're kind of filming this. They got a switchboard, they got a director. They're getting a really awesome product out there and getting some experience filming these guys, and then they can go home and watch it because it'll be on Claymont's YouTube channel, or if someone's out of town that can't make it, they can come see it too. This is usually the time where I talk to them about stuff, but I want to make sure I say a few things to everybody that's here because you want to be informed about what's going on in Claymont strings all the time. So we do have another performance coming up on March 14th. It's our 3rd grade violin and recorder concert. So they've started recorders, and they're going to be practicing and playing their recorders in Mr. Hawkins' room, which is right next door. I think they can even bring the recorders home because it's their recorder. And they can play songs for you at home, and they can also practice and get good at it so that they'll have a really awesome concert because they don't get a lot of time to spend on recorders. They're just starting like now, right? And then they only have until March to get good at them and perform. So they're going to give a concert on March 14th. March 14th, they'll play the violins for about 10 or 12 minutes, what we learned in January and February, and then they'll play the recorder for about 10 or 12 minutes from what they learned over there in Mr. Hawkins' class. Then we'll spend the rest of the year practicing our violin. We'll learn some more about music, and around April I start talking to them about the different instruments where I play them and talk about all the details of them. Right. Okay. And I will, it's kind of weird just listening to someone talk, right? They want to conversate too. Great. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, he's over here. He's doing an awesome job. Okay, so they will have all these are violins, but these will stay here next year. They'll go back on the rack, and then the 2nd graders now will come and get them off and play them. Okay, so these are, I have a class set of violins that we get to use in 3rd grade, so we're really excited that we have them and that we can have this program. And some of these have been around for a long time. What happens next year is students rent their own instrument, usually from a music store in the area, and then that becomes their instrument that they bring to school and take home. We want to make sure it's the right size. You notice this is a little smaller than mine over there, and then some of the ones in the front row are just a little bit smaller. So we do measure kind of arm length and shoulder and neck and everything to get the right size to make it easy to play. So too small is okay, but too big is a lot of trouble sometimes. They can continue playing the violin, or they can switch to something. They can switch to a viola, which is going to look a lot like this. It's going to be a little thicker. It's going to be a little longer when it's full size. It's not going to have this high string. It's going to have a lower string instead. So people like the viola because they don't like that high pitch string, but they still want to play it like a violin. They still want to carry a violin-like case. And to school them back twice a week. They can have the option of choosing the cello, and the cello is a little larger than your violins. This is a student-sized cello. Keep in mind they're bringing this to school and back. I see at least a dozen cellos over there of 4th and 5th graders that are putting them on their back with their backpack and a binder and bringing them to school. They drop them off in my room, and then they go back to class. They come back during strings time. They play them for 30 minutes. They pack them up. They take them back to their room area, and then they take them home that same day. So they're at home 7 days a week, and they can get them out anytime, 7 nights a week, and play beautiful music for you all the time. 10 or 15 minutes is usually best. If grandparents or anybody comes over, they can get it out and play it for them. They can play it for siblings or pets or anything like that. Big family gatherings, it's great to have nice performances of our string instruments, just like my mom made me do when I was little. And then, even if someone's not in the room, they can still play for them in a different room, and that's okay too. This is called practicing, and we do notice a big improvement in 4th and 5th grade, and a lot of that is when people play at home, more than 60 minutes twice a week. All right. That's a little bit about our 4th grade program and 5th grade program. They can continue after 5th grade into 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade orchestra. Parkway offers that. You just kind of keep the same instrument, keep signing up for strings, and keep playing live, and you get really good. Okay. That's about all I have to say about anything coming up. They're going to play a couple more songs for you. This next one's called the Train Song. So each of these songs is supposed to teach something. This one's the circle. So violins need to go down, and they need to go up, but they also need to circle and land back where they started. So. Okay, our last one's called Open String Blues. So I always say that you can play the violin, you can play classical music, you get to, because they wrote classical music for that, but then you can also play any other song. So we usually do some fiddle tunes, we usually do some rock tunes. This is a blues tune. Sometimes I hear the 4th and 5th graders practicing. They figured out a song they know. I heard a Frosty the Snowman the other day. I hear lots of Baby Shark for some reason. Yeah, it's popular now. Okay. This is our blues. Hey, another round of applause for our 3rd graders. sure to thank anybody that came to see you, siblings I see parents, I see grandparents today that came to see you today or Monday, or if they watch it online later, or are streaming now and watch it live at work or at home or whatever. Make sure to thank them to watch you, so they're doing a great job. They are going to set their instruments down, they're going to put their bow down, they stand up quietly and ready to walk in the hall. I think what's been working the best is if the third graders walk out and pause in the